So Upskill's been doing this for 9 years, and we're really excited to be here at the 10th year, which we think is a milestone year for Augmented World Expo. And we presented a number of different times about how AR is bringing quantitative ROI. And we've been doing this with our customers for a number of years. And as we're starting to see some of our customers' deployments mature and their use cases expand, one of the interesting revelations that we've had as a business is actually noticing some of the qualitative metrics that are starting to come out in how AR is creating the connected workforce of the future, and how that's actually fundamentally changing how people are working, collaborating, how businesses are planning resources, and how people are training. So, faster, better, safer. Pretty straightforward, right? It's basically what everyone that's using AR is chasing. And some of the results that we've seen, 30% higher work throughput, whatever that work is, 100% first-time quality, and 100% compliance against standard operating procedures, whether or not that's a quality checklist or that's a safety-based kind of a checklist. So if you think about that, this is the last slide that I'm going to talk about actually numbers as metrics. And we're going to start talking about some of the qualitative changes that we're seeing in how behavior is changing by businesses as well as the people. So you may have heard of this term, the digital enterprise. And digital enterprise is the collection of systems and tools that businesses have been investing in for the last decade, 2 decades, spending billions upon billions of dollars as a global economy to bring to life. And it's meant to really go and affect 2 things. The first thing is around how people plan. Enterprise resource planning, the P, ERP, is for planning. People design, people schedule work, and people source parts and materials and people. And then to the right, you have hands-on work. People that are actually conducting the process around how people are being trained, how people are actually executing the work, and then how people are verifying the work. There's a tremendous amount of digital investments that's happened on the left side here, on the plan side, not so much on the right side. And that's what Industry 4.0 is supposed to bring. So how people are doing it is that they're extracting information from these planning kinds of systems, lots of 3-letter acronyms, ERP, PLM, MES, WMS, so on and so forth. And they're creating a playbook that they go and deliver to the hands-on workers. How is that playbook being executed? It's executed like this. Paper, people flipping through a whole bunch of different information, understanding what step that they need to go and do next. And there's this disconnect that's happening from all of the digital investments that have been made to how paper is being used to as the last, we'll call it the last 10-meter delivery of information. Enterprise-wide, this is pervasive. How does the insights from the point of work actually go back into some of those planning systems in order for people to improve their processes? Well, after that person is done working or done with a particular task, they go back to their computer, maybe transcribing what they wrote down on paper into these different kinds of systems. And all of these are really prone for disruption. So that arrow back from hands-on worker going back into the rest of the digital enterprise, there's a fundamental disconnect. This is really, really disruptive and not in a good way. This is inefficient. So let's talk about the AR-enabled connected worker. Here's some of the qualities associated with this. The most important one is this bidirectional and dynamic flow of information with the rest of the digital enterprise that exists around them. Second one is real-time networked workforce. So this isn't just about the ability to go and access digital content on the go, as much as being able to go and actually have real-time access to each other. What that means is that information and expertise becomes democratic. This is a big deal. That information from one factory to another factory, from the warehouse to the field to the shop floor, being democratic is a transformative effect into how businesses are actually planning. And this is a little bit aspirational, but downstream, this AR connected worker ends up being able to go and work heads up and hands free. Obviously, there are devices that can go and do that with a subset of the employee bases today, but the end state is that everybody has all of this in the least disruptive user experience that's out there. So let's talk about what that means for how businesses are actually planning out the resources. When you go and connect the people with the rest of the digital enterprise, the net benefit around this, which is actually difficult to quantify in an isolated kind of a window, is that you can go and allocate your resources better. That could be your factory equipment, that could be your human resources, it could be your inventory, but being able to go and have that real-time connection with the people can go and help you better allocate resources. Furthermore, and I'm going to dig into this a little bit more, is you've got better visibility into hands-on processes. What's happening at the point of work, and how does the insights that are gathered at that point of work help businesses be able to go and execute their operations better? So, insights at the point of work, this is a big opportunity. This is what that AR-enabled connected worker delivers as an end-state benefit. You've got analytics and decision-making systems that exist as a part of the digital enterprise. Most businesses have it, if not all. You have these systems of record that also manage the processes on how work should be done and how work should be orchestrated. So that's in the gray. What's in the blue is the work execution using augmented reality and being able to go and capture insights right at that point of work and being able to go and draw insights from that and making the overall digital enterprise more intelligent. AR is, of course, transforming how people are learning. This is a very common, for the hands-on workforce today, this is a very common training environment. Classrooms, PowerPoints like these, speakers like me, talking about how to be able to go and do certain processes. And again, there's that fundamental disconnect with the real parts, tools, processes that people are needing to do to go and do the work. How AR is changing this, and this is a photo of a trainer that we had in one of our customers' factories with a whole bunch of different smart glasses that are being issued out to their technicians to go and conduct on-the-job training. The whole point of AR, which is actually different than the role that VR has in training, is to be able to get people out of classrooms, get people out of immersive environments necessarily, and then put them on the line. Of course, there are certain exceptions, like environments where there's a high degree of safety that's required. There is a place for VR, for sure, and its impact that it has on training can be very, very powerful. But AR's role, whether or not it's assisted reality, mixed reality, so on and so forth, in being able to drive on-the-job training and making learning continuous rather than discrete steps in the human resources processes shouldn't be understated. Training is also for everybody. Everybody has to learn. And what I mean by that is that the most common example is around new employees. When businesses hire new employees, they have to go and train the person up to be able to perform the tests, the tasks, as well as the tools to be able to be successful in what they do. So that's an obvious one. It's also for new products and processes. If I can get the slide. There we go. New processes. Whenever there is a new way of doing certain things, and it could be a very subtle change in how to build a certain part of an airplane, you have to be able to go and deliver that information to the worker so that as designed is exactly as built. This is really important in industry. And then, of course, as you're introducing new products, it doesn't matter whether or not you're a fully skilled worker or if you just started at a given company. Everybody has to learn how to do new things, how to use the new tools, and how to hit the the target productivity and quality metrics. So how does this actually how does this change how people work? So who here has heard of the term discrete manufacturing? Some of you. So discrete manufacturing is the art of actually building products in a very discrete fashion. Examples are airplanes, cars, that are typically built to order. And the flip side of that is process manufacturing, where things are done in large batches, and it's a continuous kind of a process to go yield products. So let's talk about actually Coca-Cola, one of our customers. And what's now happening, you've probably seen this at grocery stores, is that you have all these different labels that are now customizable. You're seeing that on beers, you're seeing that on M&Ms, you're seeing discrete concepts of discrete manufacturing be applied in industries where everything was just mass manufactured. So being able to go and actually have your own people that as well as equipment, be able to adapt to all of these different changes is one of the things that's the net benefit of being able to drive that connected worker. And then of course, this isn't just limited to manufacturing. Grocery picking at retail stores is an example where people have a need to, or people have a desire rather, as e-commerce and other kinds of businesses are disrupting the retail industry, people are expected to now, or businesses rather, are expected to go and deliver discrete bags of groceries that are personalized to you, either to the curbside or to your home. So what does this actually mean? You have an on-demand, you have a discrete, and tailored products and services that people have to offer. So going back to what I said, the need to have that kind of dynamic and bidirectional flow of information from the rest of your digital enterprise is backing up all of these different order systems, and then making sure that that information is delivered to the user no longer is a nice to have, it's a must have if you're going to change your business models to go with this. Collaboration is probably the easiest one because I think there are a ton of use cases that already exist out there. And how AR is helping people collaborate is around having expertise on demand. Very, very obvious on that. Digitalized tribal knowledge. So collaboration isn't just about being able to go and share expertise and knowledge in a real-time fashion. Collaboration very much is actually closely intertwined with training and continuous learning in a sense that you've got, for example, in many of the manufacturing and field service industries, you've got a large number of workers that are on the verge of retirement. And because a lot of that information hasn't necessarily been digitalized, as they retire, so goes the information. So how do you go and solve the problem of being able to capture a lot of that information, and while at the same time perhaps prolonging the careers of some of the, let's say a master technician at a manufacturing company who knows how to do these 6 steps incredibly well, have literally written the manual on it. How do you go and harvest the knowledge of that person and create more value out of that person whose knees may be aching at the end of the day because he or she's been working out there on the shop floor for 12 hours a day for the last 35 years. How do you go and make that person more comfortable while benefiting from all of the knowledge that people have out there? And of course, this talks about that generational transition that I just mentioned, where being able to go and have people that, for the most part, work with analog-based tools. And as people are becoming more accustomed to digital tools, there's a need to become digitally literate. Another qualitative benefit, getting rid of paper. So this is a video that we had put out into the ecosystem some time ago, where the same technician performing the same task. Left side is the person working with paper. Right side is the person who's working with smart glasses. And as you can see, and if you go to our website and look up some of the side-by-side videos that are out there, that paper-based processes is 34% slower. So being able to go and simply cut paper out and create that kind of the continuous digital connection in and of itself is going to deliver quite a bit of benefits from a workforce transformation perspective. Likewise, there's value in being able to go and deliver information where and when you need it. This might be an obvious statement, so I'll use a graphic example once again. Warehouse picker referencing a pick list on the left off of a computer because he's now forgotten that where that particular part is because his memory's failed him. Or what's on the printed out pick list, as it turns out, if you go to the particular bin, the item doesn't exist. So he now has to go and look up where else he can go and get the part. Whereas on the right side, he's able to continue to work. So I talked about this notion of digital literacy, and what Industry 4.0 workforce really is intending to do is to enable literacy of not just the analog skills that are required to go and do the job, but digital tools like augmented reality, IoT-enabled systems, AI, cloud, so on and so forth, to be able to go and conduct their best work. And as the workforce dynamics are changing with the role that automation and AI and other kinds of systems have, being able to have digital literacy actually can make or break the person's continued career and being able to go and move up higher into the employment value system. So going back into how and why our Upskills customers have invested into augmented reality and some of the benefits that they're seeing after some years of investment, it's clear that this is actually AR with the hands-on workforce it's an operational platform. So the term platform gets thrown around a lot here at conferences like this, but in this case, it really is a true platform and a foundation upon which that you can go and build additional use cases and start getting some of those quantitative metrics. And what that brings from from a qualitative aspect is global readiness for change. You have democratic access to information. So you're able to go and deliver that, and change management becomes a much easier thing to manage. And then, of course, you've got the connected workers and expertise globally, point of work insights for maximum agility of their operations. And then you've now also gone and built the AR literate workforce. So as your operations are changing, the same people who you trained up to become literate in AR are able to go and switch different roles and get trained and cross-trained and so on and so forth. This may be an unpopular opinion, but AI and automation does change everything. We talk a lot about how AR is going to be the savior that's going to prevent us from domination by robots, and how we're going to make the human brain more intelligent so that we can go and combat artificial intelligence and so on and so forth, so that people are becoming more competitive. I agree with that last statement. People will become more competitive because of AR, but it's not because it's going to help us fight the movements of the growth of AI and automation that's happening around us. There's no question in my mind that AI and robotics are going to fundamentally change and in some cases eliminate some of the roles that are out there. So what does that mean for the hands-on worker who may have been trained on a particular skill set? This is where being literate in the digital tools and technology comes into play, and you're able to actually move higher up into that employment value chain, where a person who may be doing a certain task that could be easily automated by robotics, that person is able to go and actually perform repair tasks and things like that robots and AIs can't do effectively. And you're able to go and put your best assets, which is your actual dexterity and agility. We're better than most robots in being able to do that, a lot of the cases, as well as your own brain, to be able to go make decisions accurately and quickly, to be able to become more competitive down the road. And at the end of the day, people, and we firmly believe this, and our customers agree, that people are the most critical piece, but at the same time, we're also some of the most underinvested aspects of Industry 4.0. And being able to use AR isn't necessarily about driving large ROI metrics in 3 months or 6 months, but some of the qualitative benefits, in turn, if you zoom out 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and look at how this technology is being rolled out, is going to actually generate savings and returns that are much more than the faster, better, safer in that particular use case, and have that transformative effect in your own businesses. So that wraps it up. Hopefully this was a little bit of a thought-provoking conversation. We're going to be around the rest of the week and would love to foster some dialogue around getting out of that traditional ROI, getting into some of the qualitative aspects of what AR can go and do for businesses.